Scott, Hartlepool at home this weekend. They're 5 games unbeaten. How do we end that run that they've got and build on a good result that we got at Carlisle?
Yeah, look, first and foremost, we approach every game. We want to win every game. But look, we've got to work hard. We've got to have a really good structure when we haven't got the ball. We've got to be a bit brighter and I would say, play a bit freer when we've got it. I thought we did well at Carlisle the other day, and there was quite a lot of opportunities for us to break on them. We were probably one pass short 3 or 4 times of getting in some really good areas. So, yeah, look, I was pleased. We know tomorrow's going to be another tough test, but I think the lads are in a pretty good place. We've got a few bodies back now. Competition for places is upon us, just about. And look, we've trained really well this week, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
How's training been this week, and what's the focus been like in the session? What's the focus been on?
Yeah, so we, because of the travel, we were always going to be off a second day recovery on Monday, but we trained really hard Tuesday and Thursday, and we've had a good session this morning. So look, we're still trying to find out a little bit about ourselves. We've passed the ball well this week. We've trained with intensity. That's definitely ramped up a notch from when I first came, but even in the last sort of week or two, it's got better and better. I think we've added a couple of bodies to the group as well, which is exciting for everyone. It's competition for places as well in that respect. And yeah, look, we're obviously fully focused on the game, and training's been good. It's been really bright. We did a good session this morning. Yeah, I think we're in a good place.
Yeah, James Waite been brought into the club. What are you hoping that he can bring to the team?
But he's an excellent player, James. I've signed him 4 times. I was fortunate enough to get him on loan from Cardiff a few years ago when I was at Western-super-Mare, and he got recalled because he did so well for us to sort of go and get in and around their first team. That didn't happen as quickly as James would have liked, so he ended up coming back on loan to us, and I managed to sign him. I wanted to sign him permanent at that stage, but we couldn't quite do it. We ended up going to Pennybont, and then they sold him to Newport County. So I did manage to get him back in the end, and let the loans come about because just a chance conversation between myself and my mate Scotty Rogers at Western. We needed a few more attacking options on the bench. They were quite heavy numbers-wise because they've recruited really well in the last few weeks. So it's just one of them that fits all parties. And look, James is really ambitious, so he'll be trying to do as well as he can here to try and make something permanent. But look, he's a really bright player. We've got now him and Kieran Evans, who's in good form. We've got those two to fight out for that sort of position behind one of the forwards, but they can both play wide as well. So it just gives us probably 3 or 4 attacking options, either from the start or from the bench. So for me, it's a no risk one. It's someone I've worked with before. If we're going to bring people into the club and make a quick decision, I think it needs to be someone that we know quite well. We've got a strategy going forward in terms of more longer term signings, but you have to build up a good picture of what that person looks like before we go and invest. So that James, I know really well. I think he's a great kid. He's added a lot to the group already. He's settled in well, and that's testament to the rest of the group. They're a good bunch actually, and yeah, look, I think having those attacking options later on in games is what we wanted, and he gives us that along with Sam and the other front boys.
Yeah, what's availability looking like at the moment? I know that obviously we've seen the return of Paul McCallum, but do we have any updates on Aaron Blair, Jordan Cousins, Noel Marr, and obviously Archie Harris, who missed out on Carlisle as well? Yeah,
look, Archie's back now. He was away on international duty. He actually didn't play in the game because he had a knock. But he's trained this week and looked really, really good as he always does. Niall's now back in what I would call almost full training, just a little bit short of full contact stuff with the rest of the group, but he's in every session, just in a bit of a passive way, just for another week or two. He's got a couple of bits to tick off before he can come in properly. So he's still going to be in the grand scheme of things, he's really close, but he's still not quite close enough yet for us. Jordan's going to be a little while, might be another month or so on that one. That was quite a bad one, and unfortunate really how it happened at the early part of that game. And Aaron Blair's good. Yeah, he's all good to go. So he'll be back in the squad tomorrow.
Amazing. And Louis Holzman, Connor Underhill and Barney Stone, just want to touch on them quickly. They're obviously all out on loan at the moment. How closely do you keep an eye on their development whilst they're out there getting regular minutes? Yeah,
really close. We've had staff members or myself go to the games. Toddy's been to see Louis. Barney's obviously at Weymouth with people that I know really well there. Ruben Reid, who played for me for a long time, is looking after Barney at Weymouth for us. So I'm really pleased with that one. I think it sounds like he made a real big impact on his debut the other day, and he deserves it because he's been training really well. And obviously Connor as well. And we get all the footage, but he's come in. He looks nice and bright in training because you know they got that end product at the end of a week. And again, Tommy Killick's someone I've known for probably more than 20 years, so that's a good one for us as well, having those boys there, because they need to be playing games. By the time I was sort of Barney's age, I probably played 150 senior games. So we're just trying to get them as many games as we can, but we now know that if we need to, we can recall and they'll go straight back in our squad.
Yeah. You mentioned in your programme notes for tomorrow that you're cautious about overpraising the players after Carlisle because of the fact that you expect to compete with teams at the top end of the table. How do you find that balance between praising them but not overpraising them?
Yeah, I think they know. We're all on a level. We know what we can achieve. We know how to achieve it. It's just we have to put it together more often. I thought we were really good against Carlisle. It was a really good, solid away performance with a bit of quality as well. I love the fact that we stayed in the game long enough to wrestle some territory from them later on in the game, and we finished really strong. The actual goal was a great move, and it's you're seeing, like we talked about the other day, you're seeing Kieran Evans get the ball in pockets, in tight areas, pass it and move forward and get into break lines into dangerous areas. So I was really pleased, and I know what you're saying about us not wanting to overpraise. We have praised the lads for that because it was a good weekend actually. It was good to spend some time together, to bond. The whole travel was good. It's something to look forward to. We've got another one, Rochdale coming up, and then Gateshead coming up after that. So it's something we should enjoy. It's a privilege for the players to be playing at this level with everything the club gives them. But you're right. It'll be a great point if we can back that up tomorrow. And it is a good point away at the league leaders. But I also think it shouldn't necessarily be a surprise that we've gone there and got a thing. So that was more the point I was making. I was really pleased with them. I thought we got it spot on tactically. We had a really good shape when we didn't have the ball, and we looked a threat. We've looked today back at 5 or 6 moments in the game where we could have been even better on the counter attack, and we've worked on that. We've worked on that today in training. But look, you have to say teams like Carlisle are ahead of us. They're ahead of us in many ways, but there's something to strive to get up with.
Because that was something that you were particularly pleased with after the Carlisle game, the fact that we remained a threat throughout the 90 minutes, which is something you've spoken about a couple of times previously, that we hadn't been a threat for the full 90 minutes, but against Carlisle we were. How do you and the players ensure that performance and that staying a threat for 90 minutes is emulated tomorrow?
Well, it's options from the bench. It helps. Clearly, Macca gave us a focal point up front, down the middle. We had Sam and Harvey joining in from both sides as well. We can probably even gamble a bit more off Macca because he doesn't lose much in the air. But in terms of staying in it, it's a mindset first and foremost, but it is also a physical thing. It's a physical game, and we needed to have some options from the bench. So to be able to take Macca off when he'd run his race did ever so well for us, actually, in both boxes, and put on Gooks, who was really sharp on the day. That helped. That gave us another attacking threat, a different maybe a different focus. We start getting down the sides and running channels, and look, just having 3 or 4 options on the bench that you can bring on to affect the game in a positive ways. That's how we want it to be. And whilst we've got good options on the bench, I think we'll be a threat for longer periods.
Yeah, and just finally, you have been and continue to be well received by supporters. How much love have you felt from them, and how excited are you to see them again back at home tomorrow afternoon?
Yeah, it was a long old. Last time we saw them was in Carlisle. So look, they've been great. I keep saying they've been great with me and the staff. They really have. But their relationship with the players is so important. We've made some cute little changes. We make sure that they know how much we appreciate them, because I know the players do. Do we always show it as footballers and staff? No, because sometimes you lose a game and the tendency is to try and get off and get in the changing room as quickly as you can. We've made sure that we don't do that. We'll try and get around and see people before a game, after a game. But yeah, look, they're key. That's why we do it. We need to make this place a really difficult place for people to come. And again, look, the relationship between the players and the supporters is key to that. So it's we're looking forward to seeing them all tomorrow.
All the best.
Cheers.